Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the American Sushi podcast. I am your host, Evan, and I'm here with my co-host, Brandon, aka Too Spooky.
Hello.
And today, we have a very, very special guest, the Chad lad himself, Beastly Briggs.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for being on.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. What is up, all the Chad lads out there?
To start it off, Briggs, why don't you tell those who don't know, although I'd be very concerned if they don't know you by now. Who are you and what are you all about?
Well, it's definitely been a journey creating content. I've made content on many platforms. Right now, I am mainly a Twitch streamer / podcaster. I do a variety of Twitch streams. I have 2 podcasts, the Rant Cafe and the One Piece Virgin. And, from time to time, you might see a YouTube upload from me.
Oh, from time to time, huh?
Yeah, all around anime. Whether it's for streams or for podcasts or for my videos, there's a very large anime focus. I'm a big anime fanboy.
You'll love to see it. So I guess right off the bat, we're going to be throwing some questions at you, and I think the perfect one to segue into after that beautiful introduction would be, how are you feeling when it comes to Twitch versus YouTube? Because I know for a long time you were definitely a dedicated YouTuber. But now you've officially, crossed over to the dark side, you could say, and became a Twitch streamer.
So dark side is Twitch, huh?
I mean, it's debatable, but
I still love creating content on YouTube. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy that aspect of YouTube because I'm a creator at the end of the day. That's what I love doing. However, with YouTube, I find I get frustrated a lot with YouTube, whether it's the algorithm or the fact that it's like, oh, here's a video I want to make, but I know it's going to do poorly. But I'll make it anyway for myself. But then I see my channel start doing worse because of it. So that always hurts. I feel like I'm always having to chase what is going to do well, despite that maybe not being the video I want to make at this given moment. Also, obviously, making a video on YouTube is very time consuming between writing the script, recording the audio, editing the audio, which is god awful. Terrible. I know you feel my pain there, Spooky.
Yeah, it's the worst.
And then whether I edit the video myself or don't edit the video myself, it's always an over 10 hour production for no guaranteed results, right?
Yeah, for
and
sure.
if it's a video that you may not have wanted to make in the first place, or maybe you wanted to make it, but that's not your first choice, it hurts even more. So I've definitely had a lot of frustrations over the years with YouTube, and I find I get stressed if that's my only focus. The thing that I love about Twitch is, I will say, it is so much more fun than YouTube. YouTube, I always, there's a lot of tedious things involved. There's really nothing tedious about Twitch for me. I'm just having a good time. And another positive is the fact that I'm constantly interacting with my fan base in a way that you really can't with YouTube. You're way more connected with Twitch.
Yeah, I 100% feel that. That's why I also enjoy Twitch streaming. Obviously, I don't do it near to the extent of you. But just the fact that you're able to connect with people one-on-one, because I feel like, solidifying an audience and, really interacting with them is super important. But like you said, it's very hard to do that on YouTube. In fact, it's the one thing that I feel like I haven't figured out. It's how do you interact with the audience versus, make this project you want to make and, intertwine them somehow. So I feel like that's where Twitch comes in. And that's why I really enjoy it.
And the larger you get on YouTube, I find the harder it is to interact with even comments or do Q&As and stuff like that. It becomes a lot more difficult to have that type of connection that I feel like you could always almost have on Twitch if you really want to. Even if you have 15,000 people watching you, you could put it on slow mode. You could put it on follow only, for example, and the chat won't be as insanely fast, and you could still keep up. I was watching this guy play chess today, and he was talking with his fans, even though he had 14,000 viewers. I'm like, this is what I love about chess. This is what I love about Twitch. My bad.
A chess exclusively. Don't even put Twitch in the same mix, okay? Yeah, I definitely see that 100%. I guess I was going to ask, honestly, how do you feel, or do you feel that Twitch could become the same thing where, if you get to a certain point, it's going to be hard to actually interact with people one-on-one because there's just going to be so much going on? But I guess that's just where you can, change it to, like you said, follower only, sub only, stuff like that, if you really need to.
The only issue I see is there's some chats that become entirely memes and, there's no actual, conversation going on. In that case, you just have to kind of put down the law and have some moderation teams. 'Cause I was watching some people's streams, and their chats are just, these people putting long messages with, and the characters, made an image. And I'm like, you can't even see what's going on with that. So that's a little bit just like concerning if that were to if that were to eventually happen to me. But I feel like I'd be able to handle it.
Okay, so I guess another question that I would have in general with your creative endeavors. So now, obviously, that you are a full-time Twitch streamer, I'm going to go ahead and call you that officially.
Yeah.
So what would you say your plans are going forward with both YouTube and Twitch, for that matter?
So I wish I was able to put more time into YouTube. The problem is, if I was just doing Twitch and YouTube, I could probably balance both, which would be great. The problem is I am also on 2 podcasts, and I handle a lot of the tech behind the scenes for that, and the uploading and stuff. So it's very time consuming. I feel like YouTube's kind of like in the background, which is sad, but I'm gonna try my best to still upload and maybe even turn Twitch streams into videos. Like I did a tier list the other day, and there's no reason that can't be a YouTube upload, despite other than the fact that I did have a couple technical difficulties along the road. What was the question again?
Oh, just what your future plans are, more or less.
Future plans. Honestly, just keep on trying to push for growing more on Twitch and growing the podcast and trying to upload as much as possible. I'm going to have to try to find some level of balance, but I just want to do whatever I think is fun on Twitch, because I feel like when I'm having fun, the chat is having fun too, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For sure. So I saw in one of your videos, Briggs, that you were a marketing major in college.
Yes.
And I am just kind of curious how that translated, if at all, to your online networking and persona.
Well, I think I failed at that because, so funny enough, I actually got the email today where I graduated. They officially I graduated in December. I graduated in December, but I actually got the email today where them saying like, you graduated, this is when the ceremony will be. It's going to have to be fucking online because of everything going on in the world and stuff like that. But I kind of got confirmation that I officially graduated, even though I knew. The reason why I'm saying I failed, it's kind of a meme. Think about this. My YouTube channel is All Day Anime. My Twitch is Beastly Briggs. My Twitter is Briggs ADA. Why is every platform a different name? I must be a freaking dumbass. But yeah, it definitely helped in some ways. I am, for example, for thumbnails on YouTube, I am way more concerned with the image popping and grabbing people's attention than it actually looking good. I feel like a lot of people are like trying to get that aesthetically pleasing image for the thumbnail, when in reality, that's not what's gonna get you more clicks per se. Because at the end of the day, it's just like you're competing. Say you're on the homepage, you're competing with all these other images. Which one is the consumer actually gonna see? Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the one with the contrasting colors and the thing that may catch their attention, even if it's not as good looking.
I feel like that's why thumbnails are like literally the most important thing about YouTube too. Like you can have a banging video, but if you have like a terrible thumbnail, like your video is probably gonna fail, and it's just the sad reality of it.
And so back to another thing that's frustrating about YouTube. Like I don't want to title the video "Tower of God is not worth your time" with me making that face in the thumbnail, but I just know that that's gonna work better. And at the end of the day, I want people to see my video.
That's where like it comes into clickbait, you could say, because it's kind of like, and I think every YouTuber is basically of the agreement that there is good clickbait and bad clickbait, but I would say that's a good example of like, it makes people want to click, and it's definitely relating to what you're talking about, but it's not like over the top like false information.
That's exactly it. I think you should clickbait as much as physically possible without being misleading.
Exactly.
That's what that's what YouTube pretty much forces you to do.
Yeah, it's the sad truth of it. Like you can have even a thumbnail that you think is good, as long as it, like you said, doesn't pop. It's not going to work out. That's the sad truth. I guess with you being also a hit podcaster on both the Rant Cafe podcast and the One Piece Virgin podcast, so I was wondering if you could give us the rundown of how that all started, and the experiences you've learned with it, and just overall, basically, how is the podcasting going?
It's definitely doing really well right now. It's been a long journey, without a doubt. It's so funny how like the smallest little events can potentially change your life. I always think about this. It was like 4 years ago. I would guess around 4 years ago. I don't remember. I was watching a Twitch stream, or not Twitch stream, a YouTube stream. And I could not remember whose stream it was, but it was a female. I don't know if it was either Simply Rose or Anime Intensity or someone Bryn fandoms. I can't remember who it was, but I was just in the chat talking, and so was Anime Uproar. At the time, Anime Uproar had like 2,000 subs. I had like 500 or something like that. Mm-hmm. We were just getting started. He mentioned that he was making a podcast. I kind of made a comment like, I would love to be on sometime. And he's like, how about tomorrow? Or how about like the next episode, right? And he had already done episode 0, which was like a trial episode. But then the next episode was like the first episode 1. And that's the one I appeared on. And then from that day, I kind of just slowly became a regular. There were times that unfortunately I had school priorities at times that we had it. So I took like a 3-month break off of Rant Cafe. Mm-hmm. But it was a slow grind for a while. And then we had a lot of regulars on consistently, a lot of different people. And then I was a fanboy of Nuxie Boy. We eventually became friends. And I saw him in the chat of our YouTube Rant Cafe stream, because that's when it used to be live on YouTube at that time. Mm-hmm. And I called him out in chat, and he said he would love to be on sometime. And then eventually he slowly became a regular. And then at the start of 2019, I believe, we're like, all right, the 3 of us, we're going to make this a thing. We're going to make it a Twitch channel, do it live on Twitch. We're going to upload it everywhere. YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all the different platforms. It was definitely a slow grind in the beginning. But then over this last, I guess, year and a half, we have come a long way. And like, for example, on like Spotify, I think we're the #1 anime podcast.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's great.
I mean, until Trash Takes makes a Spotify, then we're number 2.
That's true.
Which is totally
they
cool.
came out of nowhere. That's awesome, though. Like, I definitely remember when Rant Cafe was also first starting out, and like you were one of the original hosts, you could say. It's definitely been interesting as just like a viewer. I guess occasional guest, right? To see how it developed and like changed over time, because it's definitely come a long way from what it was in the beginning. And like, you know, a lot of the people who were like original hosts just don't exist on the creative platforms anymore. Sad to see it.
It's so sad because there's a lot of talented individuals that like over the years, like their channels just like, even though their videos are really good, YouTube doesn't matter if your videos are really good. You're not guaranteed to take off, and eventually life gets in the way, and it's kind of like you have a job, you have a family, or you have like, and stuff happens, and then you can't really put as much time into your projects, and when you can't put as much time, then you see less results and you get demotivated, and it's kind of this downward spiral. So I do miss a lot of the OGs from the start of the podcast. Although, I was watching some of those podcast episodes the other day. They are so cringy and bad quality. I look like I'm 10 years younger. I can't even watch it. But it's also gold at the same time.
Oh, that's awesome. So, I guess while we're talking about origin stories, how about you guys tell me the origin of how you two met? I think the people would be interested to hear that.
Well,
dude, this is...
So, basically, Briggs, you could say, is my first YouTube friend. When it came to like meeting somebody through YouTube and becoming good friends after the fact. So my channel was just starting to like get some traction out of nowhere. Like I didn't even know anime YouTube existed when I started doing my thing. But he actually reached out to me wondering if I wanted to do like an interview of sorts over on his channel. And I don't know if you've privated or anything, but last I checked it was still there.
Oh, I don't private anything, my dude.
I'll bet.
I like to leave that cringe up there.
So yeah, he basically interviewed me back in the day, and that was our first interaction, and you know we've been good friends ever since. You know, we've helped each other out a lot. It's been a pleasure knowing you.
Dude, I think you were like my first ever collab or second ever collab, and I was just so surprised that you actually answered. I'm just like, it's funny because you inspired me in so many ways. Because I remember you dropped these, you were started off with facts, correct?
Yeah.
And it was like you were covering a lot of One Piece characters. As you know, I'm a huge One Piece fanboy. And you covered Usopp. I think that was like the first video I watched of yours. And I watched the Zoro one. I watched the Luffy one and a bunch of other ones. And I'm like, there's no Sanji video? What is going on? And I actually decided, I'm like, you know what? I started like Googling. I'm like, I want to find some Sanji facts, you know? And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make a video, my first ever fact video. It's still on YouTube. It's very bad. I must warn you, it's terrible.
Oh, I watched that today. That's so funny. I watched that today. And to know that Brandon was your inspiration for that, the person you were talking about, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
And prior to making that video, I reached out to Spooky on YouTube messaging, which is no longer even a thing. And this mad lad actually responded. I think he had like 6,000 or 7,000 subs, I'm guessing.
I believe so. Around that time, it was definitely less than 10. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. Yeah, it was less than 10, and I don't know how much I had at all, but you actually answered and took the time to make that video with me, and you even like promoted it too. You're like, it really meant a lot, and thank you again.
I was pumped that you reached out. I felt like I'd finally made it. Somebody wanted to interview me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
That was also a big moment for me as well. And then like yeah, we've done a couple collabs here and there over time. I know the one we did on my channel, like I think it's 2018, this big 7 Deadly Sins fact one.
Mm-hmm.
I hopefully that brought some people over because it's been getting like some traction here and there every so often. It's done pretty well.
It absolutely. Do you know how many views is that roughly? Because
I think like 700K, something like that.
oh my god, I remember. Oh man, I remember this very vividly. I remember checking my Social Blade like the next day and seeing like an influx of subs. Even after you mentioned me in your My Hero Academia video, you gave me a shout out, and it was very much appreciated. I was so excited because like getting on YouTube and making these good videos, or what I thought was good videos at the time, was so rough when you have like no one commenting. I just wanted people to comment on my videos, you know?
Yeah.
Like I just wanted some feedback, and like even if it was bad, sometimes when people leave a bad comment, I would still low-key be happy. Like, someone saw it and said something, you know?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
But I just remember very vividly because I had a pneumonia a couple days prior to recording for that collab. It was 100 facts,
no.
right?
Yeah, it was.
It was 100 facts. I had a pneumonia. I woke up coughing up blood and couldn't write my midterm. And I'm just like, I'm not canceling on Spooky. There's no way. This is such a huge opportunity for me. He's so nice. I'm fucking recording this video. It was rough.
Damn.
It was rough.
Oh my god.
But I did it, and it doesn't sound that great, but it was the best I could do. I edited the audio. I changed the pitch. I added like all these different things. I'm like, it's good. It's good enough. I'm happy with it. I'm sending it over. And I just remember it very vividly because it was a hard experience.
Man, I wouldn't have even guessed that you were deathly sick. I really would not have guessed. It was a long time coming though, because like I for a long time I knew that like I definitely had to collab with you at some point. You know, as my first YouTube friend, like we had to do it. But like I feel like one of my big struggles was figuring out like, you know, what topics or like what video types are like best to collab with, because I feel like I'm so used to just doing it myself that I don't know how to like integrate people very well. But I figured that was like the perfect topic to do it, because I know at that time you were also like basically the 7 Deadly Sins guy, you could say.
Dude, it's so wild thinking back. Like, you kind of just latch on to whatever works. I love the 7 Deadly Sins to this day, but like, it's just crazy that somehow I ended up becoming a 7 Deadly Sins YouTuber at one point.
Uh-huh.
I actually wanted to ask a question about that period of time. So what I was thinking, like, because I know that was kind of like both a huge like a moment and also kind of like a, you know, a deterrent at the same time, because I know the 7 Deadly Sins videos were doing like really well for you, like back to back to back, but then you felt like you kind of got stuck. Do you feel that often with YouTube anymore, or like do you think that was that you've gotten out of that experience?
I don't know if I've entirely gotten out of the experience. I think it just got to the point where Twitch and podcasts are my income, and I just like, I'm just gonna make a YouTube video that I want to make. Whatever it gets, kind of. Like, I feel like I've gotten to the point where I don't care as much.
Yeah.
At the time, I was trying to get this channel to take off. I was doing a full course load university, so I was kind of limited on time.
Yeah.
And I didn't have an editor. I was doing everything myself completely, and it was rough to even get more than one video out a week for me. And the problem was I had 7 Deadly Sins doing so well. But I knew from all the advice you had given me, and just in general, that like, you need to add variety to your channel, because if you keep on making the same thing, you're going to have an audience that only wants that thing. And then when you make something different, it'll actually do worse, because all those people who are only interested in like the 7 Deadly Sins, for example, may not be interested in this other topic, or likely won't be as interested. And it's funny enough that you would think having more subscribers helps you, but sometimes it actually hurts you if you're trying something completely new. Because what the YouTube algorithm sees is it sees that less people are clicking your video, less people are interested. This must not be a good video.
And then they don't promote it.
And then they don't promote it despite the fact that you have more of an audience, which it's so dumb.
Yeah, it's so weird like that. That's why it's also like hard to, you know, stretch out that variety too much. Because there's definitely a spot where it's like, oh, if you're always doing something like completely different, like every single video is like something so off the walls from the last one, it kind of feels like, you know, you don't really, like you're always bringing in some new people for that specific type of video. But if you just keep doing something new every single time, it's going to be like those people don't really come back for something else, because they're like, oh, this video about One Piece is great, but man, now you're making a video about cooking an egg salad sandwich, bro. I don't know, dude.
Exactly. And exactly, like, at the time, I didn't have a huge amount of time, so it was like, eventually I got to the point, I'm like, if I only have time for one video, I want it to be a video that's going to get as many views as possible.
Yeah.
That way I could grow as fast as possible, despite the fact that I am very limited on time, and I had a very busy life at the time. Now, I feel like because my channel has grown a certain amount, I do know certain videos will obviously perform better, but I know that I'll get a certain amount of views kind of regardless, just because I do have a supportive audience at this point. So yeah, a lot of times, like, my last video was literally me just sitting in my chair, talking to the camera about what I've been watching and reading lately. And I love making those videos. Back in the day, I would have never made that because I knew it wouldn't do nearly as well. But at this point, I'm like, it's an easy video. I want to give my fan base some content, and I actually feel bad that I haven't been able to upload as frequently as I would like to. So like, this is for them. Whatever it gets, I don't care. So it's a completely different mindset. And I do feel like I've kind of escaped the trap of being stuck on one type of anime.
That's great to hear. It really is.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds freeing that you have the podcast and your Twitch channel being so successful that you can just make what you want to make and give that to the people who support you.
I lose money on my YouTube videos, actually. 'Cause I pay editors, and it's worth it for me to pay editors. So I've literally every video I've uploaded over the last 2 months, I've lost money.
Damn. Well, I mean, at the
Wow.
same time, though, you're giving them what they need.
I'm giving them the content they need. I'm continuing stopping my channel from dying, and I get that extra time to focus on the things that do make me money. So in the long run, it still works out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I want to talk about a specific video you made last year about Shield Hero.
Okay.
And
I barely remember it, but sure.
But I thought the ending of it was so interesting because he started kind of ranting about some of the reviews about Shield Hero, the Rising of the Shield Hero.
Okay.
And specifically, you talked about how storytelling shouldn't be restricted, that some of the dark themes don't need to be counted against an anime.
I still agree with that, yes.
Yeah, I was just kind of wondering, and you talked about like Game of Thrones wouldn't be able to exist without some of those dark themes being explored.
Yeah, it's just so dude, I hate mainstream media. I hate articles that are written because at the end of the day, these articles are just like YouTube. They're trying to get you to click them, but for whatever reason, like, that's all they care about. All they care about is the click, right?
Yep.
So they'll take things out of context to get that click. YouTubers do it all the time, but for some reason, the mainstream media has this people view it as being accurate, or at least they did for a while. I feel like they keep on tarnishing their own image to the point that people don't trust it anymore, which I'm kind of happy about because they don't deserve it after all the shit that they do. I'm trying to recall exactly in this case, but I'm pretty sure people took things out of context and saying that you shouldn't. It was because the girl, the female character, falsely accused the character of rape, right?
Yep, the Shield Hero guy.
And people were saying that sends a bad message. And my argument was, are you really trying to restrict and censor something because it's bad? We all know it's bad, right? But bad shit happens in the real world. Why are we going to stop it from happening in the fictional world? For example, if you look at Berserk or Game of Thrones, for example, there's killing, there's rape, there's all these terrible things that aren't legal. None of us condone it, but it exists. And the fact that it exists adds to storytelling because you could create these horrible characters and make them horrible by doing horrible things. Why would you stop it just because it's bad? Don't show bad things on the internet. What does society come to if we've done that?
Yeah, and I remember one of your points you made was like, it's a very good storytelling method to show Shield Hero at his bottom, right? At its lowest peak, is him being falsely accused of rape. And it's really interesting to me because in college I was an English major, and so they always talk about the storytelling triangle, right? And so I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with that, but there's the author's meaning of what the work is going to be, there's the actual work itself, and then there's what the audience brings to it, right? And so you can't have the full meaning of a story without taking all three of those into consideration. And so, like, you can see The Rising of the Shield Hero as this tone-deaf, like, making fun of rape thing, but that's kind of ignoring the actual, like, context, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. And I do understand there's certain arguments about certain things if they glorify something that's bad, but most of the time it's used as a way to make a character look villainous.
Yeah, or just to show how horrible the act is itself, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I understand if they were glorifying rape, but in no way would they ever do that because that's terrible story writing.
Yep.
No one would understand and be able to relate to that.
Yes.
Or I guess
Except,
there'd be a few
three
fucked
creeps
up
in the
people.
world. Yeah, the 3 creeps in the world who read.
But at the end of the day, they're not going to do that.
I don't know. I've always been of the mindset that like you have to separate art from artist anyhow, because at the same time, like you could take something like Rurouni Kenshin, right, where I'm pretty sure the mangaka behind it got caught with a bunch of that fat CP, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so
Wow.
now a lot of people are saying, oh well, now you can't read Rurouni Kenshin, and like I don't necessarily think that's true. I think like maybe you should stop, like purchasing it and giving this guy money if you want to look at it that way. But I don't think you should just outright not read important works of art just because the person behind it's like kind of a shady dude.
Yeah,
I agree with
absolutely.
that.
I absolutely agree. And
You know what's
there's
funny enough, just to go back to Shield Hero for a second,
Uh-huh.
I remember
Yeah.
some of the articles, it's just coming back to me slowly. Like, they're like, this chauvinistic author, like, this dude clearly doesn't understand what women go through. It turned out to be a women author!
oh no! Oh, that's awesome.
It was the greatest turnaround of all time.
Oof.
Yeah, and like if you look at like English literature, for example, that's what I'm most well versed in. Like there's Lolita, right? And so for those who don't know, Lolita's like a young girl, and it's this like weirdly perverse story about the mindset of a pedophile. And like
That's where the term lolly was derived from, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, it was. And like so it's not the story itself is not, you're not going to go into it and be like, man, this is a great person that we're hearing this story from, right? That's not the goal of the story. That's not how people read it. But if we're not able to kind of explore these topics and content in works of fiction, that prevents us from understanding it in reality.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
So while we're on the topic of fucked up stuff,
Oh.
so you like Game of Thrones. Are there any other sort of forms of media aside from anime that you watch or you are watching right now, Briggs?
We were talking about this earlier, but I watched the NFL, if that counts as that's
Yeah.
definitely entertainment. I don't watch a lot of TV shows per se that are non-anime anymore. I used to watch Suits.
Oh, I loved Suits.
Suits was great, especially the first couple seasons.
Yep, I watched that back in the day. But yeah, the NFL, and I think that's interesting. So you're Canadian, right? That's out there. That lore
Yes.
exists. So how did you get involved in the NFL? Because the CFL is the Canadian Football League, and we talked again before the podcast about how that's not super great. But
Yeah,
what brought
it's
you to the NFL?
Well, it just kind of makes sense because I feel like players all over the world go to the NFL to, and so it's got the best players, and you guys have a population that's like 10 times larger than ours, or probably even more. I don't even know.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense that the quality is going to be better in that league. We have a few weird rules here in the CFL that I'm not a big fan of, but I'm probably just not a big fan because I was first introduced to the NFL. My dad was a San Diego Chargers fan, which is now the LA Chargers, as am I. Rivers, their quarterback, recently got traded, so I've been a fan for like a decade. So at this point, it's like, is this finally my opportunity to find a team that's not fucking incompetent? I don't know.
Yep.
Potentially. Because Rivers, who is my favorite player in the NFL, is got traded. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm going to become a Colts fan. Or I'll just watch both. There's two things I usually do. I watch the Chargers and I watch the Patriots and hope that they lose. So now, there's just more football to watch. I'm going to watch the Chargers, the Colts, and then hope the Patriots lose. So...
Yeah, you got 3 different viewpoints to have there, and I think it's really interesting to me because a lot of people that like anime don't like sports, right? That's kind of an overgeneralization because I've talked to you and Jordan about sports, and all 3 of us like sports and anime. But like a lot of the things in anime is sort of following the character's journey for a lot of people, right? Mm-hmm. And I think you can do that similarly in sports, like you said with Phillip Rivers, right? So he has his own story with the Chargers, and now he's finally escaping them and going to the Colts, and may have a little bit more success there. And there's that storyline to it that is really interesting to me in sports.
I genuinely wish Rivers had got traded a couple of years earlier because he is towards the end of his career. He's a lot older. His arm's not the same as it once was. I could tell by the end of his last season that he wasn't able to throw the long bomb nearly as much or like as accurately. It was falling short a lot of times. I'm like, I wish he got traded earlier because I really do think he is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. The sad reality is he's been working with an offensive line that every year is either terrible or when they're okay, they get injured within the first 2 games of the freaking season. And it's like without an offensive line and you don't have the time back there, Rivers isn't a mobile quarterback. He's not going to be running around these guys chasing him.
Nope.
He needs protection. to throw his accurate throws. He likes to stay within the pocket. So if the pocket's being collapsed on every time, I'm not going to talk about football for too long, but if the pocket's being collapsed in every time right away, it doesn't matter how good of a quarterback are. If you're not a mobile quarterback, you're fucked. And I just wish he had the opportunity to show off how talented he really is.
Yeah, and I mean, he's transitioning to a really good offensive line in Indianapolis, so...
I'm excited. I'm hoping for the best. I really am.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
Brandon,
is there a football? Someone asked if there's a football anime, which I think is a great topic. Sports anime.
Please.
I love sports anime.
There's iShield 21. I don't know if it's been animated, but I know that's a really popular football manga.
It's pretty good. I watched it. It's not my favorite, but
I believe the art's by the same guy that does One Punch Man's art, so it's got to be top tier in that case, at the very least, I imagine.
Oh, interesting.
I need to read the manga. I only watched the anime, and I don't know if the adaptation was good in comparison. It was definitely entertaining.
Yeah, I still need to watch a sports manga, period. But, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, if you need some sports anime to watch.
Yes.
Hajime no Ippo is one of my favorite anime of all time. Boxing anime, it's great. Major is an amazing baseball anime. Haikyuu is an amazing volleyball anime. And I believe a lot of people recommend Kuroko no Basket for basketball. I didn't end up finishing it, but I don't think it's as a result to the quality of the show. I think I watched like a little bit of the first season, and then I got distracted by other things in my life. I remember enjoying it. I'm like, why didn't I continue watching that? I liked it.
Yeah, that's how I was with Westworld, which is totally different topic, but like...
There's a lot of people who aren't willing to watch sports anime because they don't like sports. Or a lot of otaku or like anime fans that just aren't willing to go into the sports genre. And I will say, I have zero interest in baseball. I think baseball is one of the most boring sports to watch. I enjoy playing it, but even playing it, it's kind of boring sometimes.
You're standing there a lot, yeah.
Yeah, you're either waiting to hit or you're standing there a lot. So it is a little bit of a boring sport, in my opinion. Especially to watch. I literally go there to get drunk and eat hot dogs.
Yes, that's what you got to do to enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. But regardless of that, Major, the story of this protagonist going from a child to the majors, all the stuff going on in his actual life. If you like slice of life, you're going to probably like sports anime because there's a lot of slice of life aspects in it. If you like romance, there's sports anime with romance. If you like action, these battles in Hajime no Ippo are next level. It has literally everything that anime is all about. It just happens to be on a court or around people playing sports. So you could absolutely enjoy it if you literally hate sports.
Yeah,
I'm ready to take that leap, honestly. I'm one of those people that's not a sports fan, just for everyone listening out there. I've always told myself, I got to give every type of like anime and manga genre at least a chance. I just haven't like actually dove into sports yet, but I told myself I was going to start with Slam Dunk. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that one, Briggo. I'm sure you've at least heard of it.
I am. People say it's the best basketball sports anime.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good.
Or manga. People recommend to read it.
Because I read the mangaka's other story, Vagabond, and that's one of my all-time favorites. Highly recommend that anybody listening. But the fact that if he's already, on this big pedestal for me personally, I feel like as one of his works, it'd be like the best way to introduce me to it. So that's what I plan to do at least.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I can't I can't like let you know that it's good because I haven't read it, but I do think it's a good idea, and I would love to see you get into sports anime because I'm a big sports anime fan actually. I'm watching a Hiro no Sora right now, and I think it's pretty underrated. It's very it's I don't know, like for example, the comedy in this Hiro no Sora cracks me up. I love the characters. The basketball is secondary.
I think that kind of goes back to what Evan was saying earlier too about how like in real life you could also apply like these character arcs to the actual sports players.
Exactly. It's an underdog story, or it's a story of these amazing players doing these things. Like basketball is there, and it's the medium that they're telling this story in, but that doesn't affect the quality of the story itself at all.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think that with regards to actual sports, a lot of the people like stick with the team from birth, right? And so for me, I like the Detroit Lions in football, and they have not won a playoff game in almost 30 years now. And so that's as far as I've been alive, for sure they've not won a playoff game. And like for those who know nothing about sports, you win playoff games to win a championship, and that's like the end goal. That's the Pirate King. That's the One Piece for sports.
Yeah.
And so there's like, and I, as much as I would like to swap to a team that wins all the time, I'm loyal to my team and like the storylines behind it.
Yeah, that's the journey you're on. You're almost on a journey with them, right?
Yep. Yeah. And
that's why people say. That's why people say we lost when their sports team loses. It's so funny.
And it's like I'm not playing, but like you still go through that emotional journey throughout the game with the team.
Yep. Oh, speaking of emotional journeys, Major made me cry multiple times. Baseball anime that made me cry because it is an emotional roller coaster.
Man.
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of
I'm
shocked.
writing that down. I'm gonna watch that for sure.
I know Jordan, aka the anime dude, is like a very, very heavy pusher for Major. So now that like you're also giving this very heavy recommendation for it, I feel like it's a must at this point.
Yeah, for me it's top 3 to top 4 sports anime.
Wow.
Sports
okay.
anime.
Yeah.
I'll have to keep that.
I mean,
in
I
mind.
haven't watched a ton, but I've watched a good enough handful. Like I've watched over a dozen, I'm sure.
Yeah, because I feel like, you know, as you two are both good friends of mine, I've taken your advice to watch Kenichi. So I feel like, you know, I owe it to Jordan at least to watch Major. But now that you're recommending it too, I think right after Slam Dunk, that might be what I have to do.
I mean, I think Ippo should be one of the first as well, but
I do.
I'm just happy that you're trying.
Too. I mean, like, I feel like there's no reason I wouldn't like it, you know, just because like I don't really enjoy watching like sports, you know, just in real life, you could say. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm gonna dislike that just because it's one of the main themes. But
well, that's a lot of the reasons why I recommend Ippo for people trying to get into sports anime, because at the end of the day, it's boxing, so it's and it's not even realistic boxing. So it's just like it's literally you're watching fight scenes. So if you watch other anime with unrealistic fight scenes, Ippo is the same thing. It's like it is grounded to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, it's not like you're watching people throw a ball in a hoop or play soccer or hockey or different sports. You're watching people fight, which is what a lot of people get into shonen battle manga for, is for the fights, right?
yeah,
Absolutely.
So it's definitely a lot easier, and it's a good way to kind of transition into watching sports anime, because you realize you start caring about boxing by the end of it, and you're like, okay, maybe I'll watch basketball.
Frick yeah.
So this isn't exactly one of our role awards, but Jordan, the anime dude, asked if you, Brandon, have read Beck or watched Beck.
It's on
And I
my
feel
list. I'm aware of what it is and what it's about, but I have not gotten to it yet, no.
Okay, gotcha.
Question, hashtag answered.
So, all right, I have another kind of off-the-wall question. So, Brandon has some merchandise, okay?
I do.
And this is not exclusively like just to brag and tell everyone to buy his merch, which you should do, but there is a quote from you on one of his merchandise, and I want to know if you remember this at all, okay?
I
So
mean,
this
Quote from me?
A quote from you, absolutely. At least he quoted it. This might be a lie. This might be an exposed video right now, but it's the best emoji combo t-shirt, which is, the description says, this shirt is based on the frog and call me emoji together, which is indisputably the best emoji combination to date. And this is your quote, Briggs, apparently. You will never find another emoji combination this spooky, end quote, Briggs from All Day Anime.
This is the greatest combination of all time. I still use it on a weekly basis.
yes! See, I didn't lie.
Although I fucked
is.
up, and that just jogged my memory. I still haven't gotten that shirt. I need to get that shirt.
Bro.
I'm gonna rep it on my streams.
Me 3.
Oh damn it! I need to get that shirt.
It is undisputably, I should say,
Undisputably, yeah.
the best emoji combo of all time. And I did add a quote from you because I felt like it would have more gravitating power for anyone who comes across it. And you're like, I don't know if I want to get this. They'll see your quote and they'll be like, wow, the Chad said that?
I
got
it.
Nice.
Yeah, he just came across that very randomly, and I didn't even remember doing it, but I'm glad
I was
that...
gonna say, I'm like a quote on a shirt. It was just a quote in the description. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
just a quote in the description. I don't even know why I did that.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Apparently the other one I did was really off the walls, too, which I really don't remember, but... if you want to read that one, too, you can.
I'll read it. It's very similar. It's the socks with this emoji combination on it, okay? And so the description is, these socks are only for frog lovers. If you hate frogs, they hate you. Get out of here, punk. That's his description for that.
I mean, I feel like there's no better description for those socks, but that's just me. So I guess to take this a completely different direction myself, I've only got a few more questions for you, Briggs, and then Evan, you can take over for the rest of yours.
Sure. Okay. I've got a
So, on the topic of Kenichi that I mentioned not too long ago, so ever since I've known you, you've been trying to get me to watch Kenichi, which I have, and it's great. You should definitely watch it if you haven't already. But 2, you've also told me that at some point you really want to make a big Kenichi video. Like the definitive Kenichi video, you could say.
Yes.
Ooh.
Do you still have plans to do that?
I feel like one of these days I need to do it. I need to sit down and make it a personal video. I've definitely touched upon it many times, and in many different plot points or different points about why I love it so much. But I don't think I've ever done a full on to the extent that I would have wanted to. But at the end of the day, even if the video never comes, I do feel like I've succeeded because I've made so many people watch this series. And I'm going to continue to do so, whether that's recommending it in videos here and there and sprinkling in why I love it, or on Twitch streams or on podcasts. I do it very frequently, and I very much recommend the series. Part of the reason why I do love Kenichi, like, don't get me wrong, I think it's one of the funniest anime I've ever watched. It's got good fight scenes. It's motivational. I love so many of the characters, especially the masters. And watching Kenichi change and develop is truly just enjoyable for me. I loved it so much. But at the same time, I feel like I'm a little bit biased. And the reason I am biased is because I watched it when I was in grade 9, at the start of grade 9. And Kenichi was a sophomore or start of grade 9. He was starting high school. So it was like, I remember saying, like, what are the odds? I'm watching a series and this character is like starting high school just like me. And I was always a very athletic kid. Like, I always played sports and stuff, but for whatever reason, like, when you go to high school and there's thousands of kids and you don't know everybody, I was a little bit too nervous, and in grade 9, I did not play a single sport, despite the fact that I love playing sports. I didn't go to the workout room to work out. I just kind of kept to my corner, my small group of friends, and didn't really venture out. I was shy when it came to talking to girls. I wasn't the Chad that I am today, you know? And I feel like I kind of got motivated by Kenichi while watching it. I remember while I was watching Kenichi, so many times I would get so pumped up in my room. I'd be like throwing punches in my room like a lunatic, doing push-ups.
Oh, that's awesome.
Literally after watching the series, within a week, I started watching it again. I was obsessed with this series. I started putting it on the TV in my basement while I was working out, just watching episodes here and there that I really, really liked. And I remember when I told myself, I'm like, at that moment, I kind of decided that like next year, I was so upset with myself that I didn't start doing all these sports that I wanted to play because I was too nervous, right? And then I'm like, next year, I'm gonna play all the sports, and I did. And I feel like Kenichi actually contributed to changing who I am, to a certain extent. I feel like I always had it in me. I was just a little bit too shy to actually go and do what I wanted to do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's why I also feel like one of the things I'm really pumped up for in the future of your creative endeavors is this Kenichi video, because like I feel like since you have such a personal, like a very deep personal experience with it, and it's changed you in so many different ways, and like you keep coming back to it, it's one of your favorites. I feel like it would be like a very impactful video, you could say. So I'm glad to hear that you still have plans someday to get to that video. I'm glad you haven't completely scrapped it. And the only other question I have for you today myself, so out of every video you've made thus far, which one is your personal favorite and why?
Ooh.
Which is my personal favorite? Can I just like pull up my YouTube?
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
I need to remember, because I've been doing this for a long time, and I have a lot of videos that I do very much love.
Yeah, I feel like that always changes too as you make like more and more.
My problem is, there's a lot of videos I remember I loved, and I still love, but the problem is I'll go rewatch them, and there's certain things about the editing or the audio that I don't love about it, but the actual message or the content of it was still very much enjoyable. So there was one video that I talked about Kenichi. Yeah. And it was very much in a very similar way than I did right now. I'm trying to find it. I did it 5 months ago. The greatest anime underdog story of all time. I didn't go as in-depth as I may have wanted to, but I do think I covered why Kenichi is a great story in that one.
I want to say I commented on that one, being like, oh, is this the Kenichi video? Like, before I watched it, because I remember, I think you opened up talking about Kenichi, or it was in the title or something like that. So I
do
have
also
the
talk about
memory.
My Hero Academia and Naruto in
Yeah.
it, so it's not solely focused on Kenichi. My thought process was people aren't going to click on Kenichi per se,
Yeah.
but if I could get them to click on this for Naruto and Deku, I can maybe get many people to leave here with the message that Kenichi's amazing as well, and you should watch it. There's one video that I love from every aspect. It's called Badass Anime Old Dude Deathmatch. The editing is so well done, and I was just very happy with how the script turned out for this one. Mm-hmm. So it's like a tournament bracket. I love tournament brackets, and I think it's one of my personal best, if I recall correctly.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, I remember the tournament or the tournament bracket arc for your channel as well. Those were good times.
Yeah, good days, good days.
But that's all
With
I've got
YouTube,
for
you gotta be constantly changing and adapting.
Oh yeah, very true. If you don't
sure.
adapt, you die. That's
Well,
just facts.
There's a series that I very much like, even though the videos aren't super quality, that I would recommend. Like, I just like the idea behind it and the anime I recommended, not so much the actual script and editing of it, because they were old videos 4 years ago on my channel. Anime like, what's the series I did? Anime like Death Note, anime like Hajime no Ippo, anime like Seven Deadly Sins. They're not the greatest videos, but the actual recommendations I think are top tier.
I
So I
actually
do
really
like those
that.
videos, and I like the idea behind it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea, for sure.
Yeah, those were some of my favorites of like your early days as well. I have to say. I feel like as a blossoming back into anime and manga in general, I feel like it gave me some good like starting points, you could say, since I was still like creating a watch list at that time. Like everything was new.
Yeah.
So videos like that help, like, oh, I like this one. So you're telling me these other things are similar to that. Okay, I'll add these down. But those are all the questions I have for you. So Evan, it's your,
I've
all
got-
you.
Yeah, I've got a few left here. So, some of the stuff that I was really interested in was your workout videos. And I think that's a really the way you do it is so unique. I don't think I've ever seen anyone liken it to anime the way you did.
Yep, because I had to try to, I'm like, I have an anime audience, but I want to make a workout video. How am I
Yes.
going to market this in a way that I can make it possible, you know?
Yeah, and I think it worked really well. But I want to ask, like, what would you say is a good beginner? How would someone who has never worked out or gotten in the gym, what would you recommend to them to do to start getting in a routine?
Okay, to start getting into a routine. The thing with starting to work out is you're going to be intimidated when you go into a gym. And I just say everyone starts there. Everyone starts without knowing anything. And when you go, I just want to say don't push yourself like, feel like you have to lift a certain amount of weight.
That's how you
there's
get hurt.
There's these stupid people who say you pretty much start deadlifting at 135 because you can't do it without like the proper things. And that's bullshit. You could deadlift with dumbbells. Right? You could deadlift with a bar if you want to deadlift with a bar, right? So I feel like start, if you have a friend who works out, it's amazing because he could help you or she could help you. Sometimes they offer free personal training for like a first thing, and people are always scared to do it, but I'd actually recommend do 1 or 2 sessions, one for free, pay for one, and that's it. You don't need to keep on loading this money. I think it's a waste of money if you keep on paying for personal trainers, but like that 1 to 2 sessions, if you have no idea what you're doing, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because they'll help you. They'll show you proper form. They'll show you what workouts, and they'll understand. Because a large thing is a lot of people don't know. They go into the gym like, I want to get in shape. What do you mean by get in shape? Do you want to get stronger? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to get more muscular? There's different goals, and depending on what you want to achieve, you have to align your workouts in that way. And these personal trainers will help you to like kind of go on the right path. Also, you could just Google how like the internet is vast. There's so much knowledge out there. You could Google what say you're trying to get bigger and gain more muscle mass. There's so many routines online. And I do think you should start simple. And I highly recommend starting with compound movements. And I know it's like I just kind of contradict myself, simple and compound movements. But like things like bench press and squats and deadlifts. Maybe not deadlifts if you're just first starting off. But pull downs, chin-ups, pull-ups, things that use a lot of muscles is a great way to start. And if you do those things in like a circuit training as well, shoulder raises, it's a good way to kind of kick your body into shape quickly versus a lot of people that go to the gym, they don't know anything. So what they'll do is they'll start curling and just doing concentrate on their biceps. And it's like, it's going to help, but you're not going to see results as fast if you start just trying to like do curls and maybe throw some bench press in here and you're just kind of not knowing what you're doing. Yeah, that would be my advice. Focus on compound movements, start light, focus on form, and get help.
Yeah, and I think that's great, especially focus on form. I think that's the key, and you don't want to start out with a ton of weights. I think if you're first going into the gym, because it's that damages the way you do your form if you're not able to like effectively lift. For example, with like barbell curls, right? If you're using your back for barbell curls, that's not getting the results that you want from that exercise.
Exactly.
And I think especially like the way you do it, I really enjoyed it. It was very engaging to me, and it gave me some new ideas for my workouts. Like I'd never heard of burnout sets before watching your video with you and your brother.
They kill. Have you tried one?
No, that I will try it later. I actually pulled a bicep muscle because I didn't stretch enough. So that's another key. Always stretch before you work out, or you're going to be laid up for a while.
Bro, I never
what
stretch.
I recommend doing is do a little 5-minute run, warm up your body, 5-minute slow jog if you don't want to do cardio. I don't like doing that much cardio. I play too much sports, and I'm already I tend not to have too much body fat, and I don't want to burn more calories and then struggle with having to eat enough and all that. So I recommend like run for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Do some like I feel like it really warms up your body when you start with working out. Like obviously stretch if you want, but even just doing a 10-minute jog and starting off really light and doing proper warm up sets. If you curl 30 pounds, start and do 2 sets with 10 to 15, and then take a little break and then start your workout, and you'll go into it so much easier.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, but those burnout sets looked brutal. That did not look like a lot of fun.
So, to everyone watching, when I first came for this podcast, I said, you guys got to give me 5 minutes. I need to get some water because I'm still out of breath. And I know I have to do a lot of talking, but I'm still out of breath because I just finished my workout. And I've been slacking throughout this quarantine. I've been eating a lot. I've been streaming a lot. And I have not been working out a lot. And I love working out at the gym. Gym workouts hit different. But I have so much stuff in my basement. There's no excuse for me not to be working out. But I've been slacking. And I feel like I hate it so much because the most important thing with working out is consistency. And you could work out for 6 months, see all these results, and in 3 to 4 weeks lose it all by not doing it. Obviously, it'll come back faster. And one of the things I do whenever so I've been focusing a lot, or prior, I would focus a lot about gaining muscle and strength. So I would do a lot of workouts where I was taking a lot of breaks in order to hit certain weight and trying to achieve those goals. What I find now is I've kind of fallen out of shape a little bit, and what I do to kick myself in shape is I do circuit training. So prior to this, 3 things I did in my basement. I have a bench press, I have like curling, like a dumbbell bar, and I have a chin-up bar. I would literally do one back to back to back with super low weight with no break. So I would do 10 reps of pull-ups, 10 reps of bench, 10 reps of curls, take it 20 seconds, do it again. 20 seconds, do it again, 20 seconds, do it again. And I find it just kicks my body back into like working out so fast. I don't know if there's science behind that. That's just maybe a Briggo thing. But I just find that circuit training works so well to kind of like get me back into the meat of things. Because if I were to try to do the workout I was doing before, I couldn't do it. I physically could not do what I was doing before after taking a month off. So I find this helps me kind of getting back into it easy.
Yeah, for sure. And I think especially for people starting out, you want to like commit yourself to it. Like I would say at least a month of workouts, because once you start getting into the habit of it, you like that muscle soreness that you get from it. Like it's almost an addiction, so to speak, right? In a very positive way. But like if you go to the gym and you're not getting that muscle soreness, you're like, well, I need to change something up and start to get back to that, because I don't think
soreness doesn't necessarily mean you had a good workout, because your body does adapt over the years. Like I feel like maybe I might get sore tomorrow because I haven't worked out in a little bit after working out today. But when I was working out 4 or 5 times a week for like over a year, I stopped getting sore no matter what I did. But what I will recommend doing is change it up. Don't do the same thing over and over and over and over again. Your body gets used to it. Throw in, like once you're like comfortable working out and you've started, you know different routines and you know different workouts. I could go to the gym and do a completely different workout every time if I wanted to. I usually try to stick with things for like at least a month or 2, but throw your body up for a loop. Do something completely different. If you're used to lifting heavy and doing 6 to 8 reps, out of nowhere, lift light and do 25 reps.
Yep.
Or do workouts that you've literally never tried before. Like, I watch YouTube videos of people working out. I'm like, I haven't done that before. Which you just said you saw from my workout videos. So I'd recommend just trying something new, and you'll be surprised. Like, I haven't been sore in 6 months, and now I'm sore. Soreness doesn't necessarily mean you had a good workout, or that, like, if you're not sore, you had a bad one, per se. But I think it's important to throw your body,
refresh it.
Refresh it, exactly. I don't know the proper word, but surprise it, give it something different, and it'll help kind of reach over plateaus. People plateau because they just keep on doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you're going into, like, you want to lose weight, or if that's what you mean by getting in shape, that's a lot of dietary change too. That's not to say you can't lose weight strictly from working out, but you're going to be putting yourself behind the 8 ball, so to speak.
At the end of the day, gaining weight and losing weight's mainly about calories in, calories out. You could burn calories by working out, but also a lot of the times our diets, we eat probably too large portions. We snack a lot. We don't eat much fruits and vegetables. I'm definitely guilty of this.
Junior chicken boy.
After it's like a 6-hour stream, or during like a 6+ hour stream, I'll order 3-4 junior chickens and just mow. Also, I do that knowing that I'm usually trying to gain weight, and I do work out, and I'm very active. I'm not against getting those extra calories. But if I was trying to lose weight, that would be a terrible idea.
Yeah, absolutely. So what sports do you play?
I play hockey and volleyball. I very much miss it because of everything going on in the world. I haven't been able to play for a while. Usually I play 4 sessions of volleyball in the summer because I'm crazy.
Wow. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, I just love playing sports, and volleyball is so amazing because, like, it'll just, like, there's literally these sessions that are on at 8 o'clock at night, or like at these random times. I'm like, dude, for $150, sign me up. Like, I'm down to play all these sessions at random times.
That's awesome.
Because they fit well into my schedule. They're so close to my house. I'm like, dude, I just want to play volleyball and have a beer, and like, it's just so much fun. I love hockey. It's funny enough because I played hockey my entire life, and I took a 5-year break off hockey, and I just started getting back into it. I feel like a character from a Hiro no Soda, where like you have all these guys that used to play basketball, used to love it, but quit for one reason or another, and seeing them all get back into it is very relatable to me.
That's awesome, yeah, for sure. Of course, the Canadian likes hockey.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, eh?
Oh, that was pretty good. That was a pretty good Canadian impression from a Canadian.
But of course.
And I guess one of the final questions I have is I tuned into some of your streams while researching, and I noticed this, your background, right? And at first I thought it was a different anime, but then I realized part of it was from Durararararararara.
Yes.
And I feel like that's such an underrated anime. I feel like not a lot of people know about that or talk about that. What made you such a fan of it, and why do you have that as part of your background alongside One Piece, which is a big part of your channel and identity almost?
So, I do enjoy Durarara. I don't think it's amazing, but I think the characters, a lot of the side characters are amazing. And I love Shizuo and, or these 2 characters that are in my background. I can't remember their names exactly, but I do love them. I think their interactions are so funny and badass and hilarious, and it's just awesome, right? Yeah. But a lot of the reason why I have this background the way it is because I went to an anime convention, and I was like, I need to create a background. Let me buy 3 wall scrolls. And these were the 3 coolest wall scrolls they had. there was a lot of ones that, like, it was their anime that I liked, but they just didn't look cool. I knew I had to find a One Piece one because I'm the One Piece guy. But other than that, like, Durarara and One Punch Man, there's a lot of anime I like more, but these ones just looked super cool. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get that for my background.
Okay, that's interesting. That's not what I expected from that. It was just kind of a luck of the draw then.
Shafted.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was perfect for Durarara because it's like I don't love the series, but those are my 2 favorite characters, and I love those characters. I'm like, that's perfect. Throw that in the background, and it was just like a cool little. Like, I wanted those 2. Like, I don't know. It was like, I just think it's a really cool poster, so I got it.
Yeah, and their dynamic is pretty well expressed in that wall scroll, I'd feel.
Exactly.
So I guess one of my final questions then is, so a lot of your videos you have Briggs Q, right? That's your overarching Q&A series.
Yes.
And
again, I was always trying to lust for this, like, I want to communicate with my audience, but I don't know how to do it on YouTube, and I kind of just do that on Twitch now. But continue.
Yeah, and I think this was a really interesting thing because that's so funny that you bring that up, because the one I watched, or one of the ones I watched, you kind of got into a little argument with someone who was upset that you had them attached at the end of your videos for so long. And so I guess I'm just kind of curious, because to me, that made it seem more real, your response to it, right? And it felt like I was really interacting with you through the video, even though I wasn't commenting or doing anything. And I know Brandon mentioned this to me, too, was that sometimes if you could ask, like, a goofy or dumb question that you don't want to answer, you just sort of nip that in the bud, right? And so is there a balance, do you think, between, like, being sort of overly blunt about these things and kind of playing along or goofing on them?
I don't know. I'm just an open guy, and I don't like to just, I hate censorship so much. So if someone says something stupid to me, I'm going to answer. And it may not be the nicest thing in the world, but it's my honest opinion. And I just, like, a lot of YouTubers, and no hate, I have so many friends in this community that I love. But a lot of people, it's like, they purposely don't say things negative about shows because they don't want the backlash, right? And they'll purposely maybe ignore bad comments or good comments because they don't want to deal with those certain things. So for me, I just try to have the mindset where it's like, at the end of the day, this is one viewer who's probably not going to watch this video anyway after leaving the queue because they're complaining anyway. But it is something that I want to answer. Like, obviously, if I don't have an entertaining answer, I probably won't include it. But on Twitch chat, if someone's giving me a hard time on Twitch, I'm gonna clap back. I think it's fun. I'm gonna dunk on them. And if someone has a question for me, I feel like it's kind of my job to answer it. I don't know. Like, I like interacting with my community, even if it's not the most pleasant interaction. I enjoy it. It's just the way I am.
Yeah, and I think that's refreshing. I think that's something that, like you said, a lot of YouTubers, and not that you're throwing shade, but it's like they want to point out just positivity, right? And promote that. And sometimes that kind of gets a different a viewpoint from the audience or from people watching.
One thing I do want to say, just to criticize myself here.
Okay.
I will often hate on things maybe too much for the views. And I think it's not the greatest mindset. It's almost the reverse of what other people are doing. People are being overly positive for views and they don't want the backlash. Sometimes I'll hate on things for the backlash because I want that attention. And it's not something I'm overly proud of, but I do want to, like, I'm a very open guy. And if I'm going to criticize people for being overly positive, I think I need to criticize myself and realize that I am hating on things sometimes just to hate on them. Or exaggerating. Like, I dislike them at the end of the day. It's not misleading. I'm not lying. I do dislike the series, but I'll definitely exaggerate my hate for, like, the entertaining aspect of it. And I don't think that's the greatest thing in the world.
Todoroki. I mean, what?
Exactly. Exactly. Like, I don't fucking like Todoroki at all. I genuinely dislike him, but obviously I exaggerate my hatred for the entertaining value that it provides.
100%. I feel like,
and as long as I'm willing to acknowledge that, I'm okay with doing it. I don't like lying to myself. I don't like lying to my audience.
Yeah, it's also kind of goes back to, like, how a lot of people say that, like, you know, even negative attention is still, like, it's still positive at the end of the day because, like, you're benefiting from it. So, like, obviously, you know, if you hate on something that a lot of people love, they're going to get upset, but at the end of the day, you're still benefiting from it because people are coming to view. You know, obviously some people might share your opinion, so they're going to stick around. All that jazz.
Yeah. I think there's three possibilities when people watch my video, or four, that it's a hate boner video. One, they also hate it, so they agree with me. Two, they don't hate it, but they find it entertaining, so that they still like the video. Three, they love it and are very defensive about it, and then they leave hate comments and get outraged and leave.
Yeah.
Like, and I get it. I think people are overly attached to series and they don't want to hear anything bad about it.
Yeah.
which is just funny to me, and I exploit that, obviously. And there's the people who watch and I just don't care. And I go into the video knowing that this is what's going to happen. There's people who hate on the video, people that love the video, people that are indifferent, or people that maybe don't agree with me but are still find it entertaining.
Yeah, and I think if they're indifferent and don't come back, or interact with the video at all, I feel like that's almost worse than getting a negative comment or something like that.
Again, like, YouTube's cultivated this culture. They really have. Everyone's out here trying to get views, so you can't just have a normal opinion where you like some things about the series, dislike some things about the series, think it's an okay series. You can't have that opinion. You either gotta love it, commit to loving it, love everything about it, be the #1 fanboy, or you gotta be the hate boner Briggo that I sometimes am. It's sad. It's sad that YouTube kind of forces us to do this, because I can't just say that a series is average.
I mean, you could. But
no one gives a shit about that. That's
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah.
Boring. I'm all about entertaining people, you know?
I feel like that's also part of the reason why, like, on Twitch, you can have, like, that instant reaction with people. Because, like, I've been doing a couple, like, tier lists here and there, right, just to spice up the streams a little bit. And, obviously, you know, I've been doing a lot of food-related, specifically. And everyone has different taste buds. So every, like, possible outcome is going to be different for every single person. And, like, just arguing with people about why strawberries are way better than pineapples is the best thing in the world. Like,
It's hilarious, right?
I will straight up flip people off and say, no, you're wrong, get out of here. But, like, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it's all fun and games. Like, it's still my real opinion, but, like, you know, sometimes being real with people and, you know, exaggerating it to an extent can just, like, come off as much more genuine in a way. At least that's just how I view it.
I feel like sometimes I could be more genuine on Twitch as well, because I'm obviously trying to be entertaining, and I will have those exaggerated reactions, but I will also show both sides of the table. Like, I'll say what I like about something and say what I dislike about something. In a YouTube video, if you're trying to make an argument and argue for why this claps back to my title, obviously there's things about Tower of God that they do well. But that's not, my premise is that it's not good. So I'm going to talk about all the things that are not good. Because there are a lot of things that I thought were not good. So I'm going to talk about that. And I'm not going to hurt my own argument by saying things that are good about it. Which, it's almost annoying me that I even do that. But it's just the way YouTube kind of works, sadly. And on Twitch, I could show both sides of it. I could hate on it and be like, yeah, this is still cool.
Yeah, and if you look at, like, review scores or anything, right, it's always 8, 9, 10, or, like, 3, 4, 5. And that's not necessarily how numbers work, right? Like, a 5 out of 10 doesn't mean it's an awful series or game or whatever.
Yeah.
It means it's average, and that's how I like to use them, but that's not the more contextualized way to use them.
Yeah, like, if you rated something a 6 when most people think it's, like, the best thing ever, dude, you basically just signed your death warrant.
Black Cat.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people agree with me that Black Cat is pretty mid, to be honest, so I'm not in the minority there, I don't think. But that's one of the reasons why, like, one channel I watch in my free time a lot is called Your Movie Sucks. I really like film-related YouTubers, and I feel like he's one of those, like, overly critical ones, where, like, a lot of things that people would, like, really, really enjoy, he would probably rate a lot more objectively, or, like, he wouldn't give it as much praise as, like, the average, you know, film goer. So, like, a big meme on his channel is the fact that he gives so many things a 6 out of 10. Because he's like, yeah, I really enjoyed it, 6 out of 10. But everyone's like, oh, if you really enjoyed it, it should be more like an 8, right? Or, like, what the hell? But I think it goes back to where people have, like, this over-exaggerated, like, aspect of, like, rating things with a number. Like, they don't really think of it as, like, oh, a 5 and a 6 is still, like, good if you really think about it. But, like, anything below
C's
that...
get degrees, my dude. C's get degrees.
Exactly. And it's like, I don't see why people are like, oh, if it's not, like, a 7 or higher, like... you just hate it, right? Like, that's not really how it works. Like, one anime that I despise, Serial Experiments Lain, I would rate like a 2, because there's still, like, a couple aspects of it that I could see being, like, you know, a redeeming factor, more or less. But overall, I hated it. But so many people, like, call that, like, you know, a 10 out of 10 anime, and I just don't understand.
Everyone has different taste, right? And I'm just gonna complain about YouTube one last time. I think YouTube, I miss reviewing, because if I was making a review, I would talk about what I like and what I dislike, you know? And you'll come to a better understanding as to why why I give this show a 6 or a 7 out of 10 or whatever, or why I have a certain stance on the series. But the problem is there are very few reviewers that have survived on YouTube. And maybe that one that you mentioned is still doing very well, but it's hard to make reviews on YouTube. So a lot of times the video itself for me isn't always a review. Right? It's just me pointing out bad things about a series or good things about a series, the best moments, the funniest things. Like, my videos are not reviews, and I think people expect them to be when that's not the kind of the premise of the video. Like, when I was saying, why would I say good things about a series if my premise was that it's, like, kind of I'm talking about the bad things, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I stopped. I don't do that because reviewing's dead on YouTube. YouTube, what gets views cultivates how people make content. It's so sad.
Yeah, I feel like that's why, you know, reviewer YouTube, like I said way earlier in the podcast, you know, you got to adapt or die. And I feel like with reviews in particular, I feel like they need this new type of idea to spice it up somehow. Because I feel like you said, reviews, especially for anime, have kind of, like, really died off. Like, weekly chapter reviews, bro. Get out of here, dude. What the hell is that? Like,
It's so sad because like weekly chapter reviews don't really get much views unless like you're the one person that people watch for like One Piece, like Tekking for example.
but even then, I feel like
like
Tekking spices it up in a unique way where he stands out
Yeah.
from like the other people.
He absolutely does. So weekly chapter reviews have that weekly like kind of view surge at the beginning. But what's sad is like if you make a review, a thought, like you put a lot of thought into it about a series that has completed. It completed a week ago. It takes you a month to make this video. It's a masterpiece video that you made. It will get it won't perform because the series doesn't have hype anymore. You gotta make things while it's coming out, right when it finishes, right when it starts, and a lot of times these videos aren't necessarily reviews.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of times it's more like a recap, if anything. That's how they end up these days. But like I said earlier, I was all done with my questions. I'm not sure if you have any left, Evan.
No, but I think the next question is, Briggs, you've seen a billion anime, is what I've heard.
Yeah.
I'd say over 300, I think.
I would say, like, out of the people I know, I feel like you're the person that's seen the most and is, like, always watching new things.
I feel like I've been so busy lately, and it's so sad that I haven't been watching as much anime. And then just recently, I'm like, I don't care. I have a little bit more time. I watched the Konosuba movie 2 days ago. Yesterday, I watched like 7 episodes of Akira no Sora. I'm finally back into watching anime, and I'm so happy.
So, being, this anime Chad, I know you've recommended a lot throughout this podcast, but putting those aside, what are 5 anime that you would recommend to anybody listening right now per your expertise?
So like my personal top 5? Or like
just
top
5 that you would recommend to
recommendation?
people. It can be anything, really.
Yeah, maybe maybe do a couple that are well known and maybe a couple lesser known.
I'm gonna throw a couple quick ones I think everyone should watch if you're an anime fan. Don't count that as my top 5.
Okay.
So like if you're an anime fan, I think you have to watch Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood or Furumeteru Alchemist Wazuhudo. If you're an anime fan, I think you have to at one point at least try Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Death Note, and there's a few others, but whatever. Then I'm gonna get into some more obscure anime that a lot of people watching who are currently anime fans probably haven't seen.
Okay.
That I think deserve a lot more love. One of which is Great Teacher Onizuka. Have either of you two watched it?
I haven't, but I've heard
No.
that it's great. I think probably from you. But
Yeah.
I know that it's a classic.
It's a classic. It's my second to third favorite anime of all time. It definitely has an old art style, and the first episode is like a 45-minute anime with a little bit of it's a little bit cringy and weird. If you're an anime fan, you probably won't find it weird. You're going to be used to it. But if you're new to anime, it may be a little bit hard to get into. But starting at the second episode is when the series really starts. It's more just like a prologue introductory to the first episode. I truly believe it's one of the greatest anime ever created. It's fantastic. It follows the story of this guy, Onizuka, Great Teacher Onizuka, and he kind of just like teaches these lessons to a troublesome class in very unorthodox ways, and there's a lot of good lessons learned throughout of it. And it just got badass scenes and funny moments. It's an all-around show.
Okay.
I mentioned Hajime no Ippo earlier for a great anime to get into watching sports anime in. It's my number 1 favorite sports anime, second to third favorite anime of all time, or at least top 5. I mentioned Kenichi. Kenichi is my favorite anime of all time. I mentioned all the personal reasons behind that, but even regardless of the personal bias, I still think it's a standalone great show or great adaptation because the manga continues a lot longer, and the manga is good, but I do think the anime really enhanced the source material, and you can't say that often for a lot of series. A lot of the times I recommend the source material over the anime, even though there's more anime fans, so most people just watch the anime anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like for One Piece, I recommend the source material. Berserk, I recommend the source material. A lot of these series, Ippo, Kenichi, Great Teacher Onizuka are all in my top 5. I also have Steins Gate, which is an anime I think every anime fan should check out at some point.
Top tier.
Yeah.
Top tier. It does have a little bit of a slower slice of life-esque start, but because I love the characters so much, it was easy. And then the last 10 to 14 episodes are probably the best anime episodes in all of anime. In my opinion, like out of everything I've watched, the 300 plus anime that I've watched, I think those 14 episodes are some of the best anime episodes I've ever watched. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I can't remember right now.
I feel like if I know you enough, I feel like one that obviously this one's more well known, but I feel like you're definitely the One Piece stan.
Oh, I forgot One Piece.
Yeah, that's
How could I
true.
do that? That's my favorite manga of all time.
I was just like, because you mentioned like, oh yeah, I would recommend this for One Piece, but I was just expecting to be like, oh well, now you gotta watch One Piece.
Yeah, and One Piece, I understand it's jarring. There's 900 plus chapters, 900 plus episodes. It's hard. But if you could find the time, rather than pulling an anime recon and watching everything that's coming out seasonal, when a lot of it's going to end up being garbage, at the end of the day, I can almost guarantee most things coming out seasonally aren't going to be as good as One Piece.
Yeah.
Maybe invest 1 or 2 seasons. Rather than watching seasonal stuff, maybe just watch one good seasonal show, and slowly, in the background, start watching or reading One Piece. And I guarantee you will eventually get addicted, and then you're going to be like, all right, everything else is on hold. One Piece, boys.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
and you can be a man of culture and like Sanji, like Briggs and I.
Well,
Hell yeah!
That's right.
what I was gonna say is that also, if you're on the fence about One Piece, maybe possibly check out the hit One Piece Virgin podcast and see someone else experience it for the first time, and maybe just watching like the first couple episodes of that and hearing their conversations might be the little jumping point you need to jump on.
Hell yeah. I do think that One Piece is probably the best long-running shonen. It's built because at the end of the day, like, I love the characters, I love the world, and at the end of the day, the entire journey, or from the start, from the first episode, we know that Luffy wants to get the One Piece, and pretty much to do that, you gotta sail around the entire world. So at the end of the day, it was kind of built to be this long-running story, while a lot of other shonen like Naruto, like Bleach, they have ending points, or they don't have... they weren't meant to be as long as they were, but they keep on getting extended because of money.
Yeah.
While One Piece, even though it's probably for the money that they keep on going longer and longer, it's still built to be long running.
Exactly. But other than that, I feel like we've got 2 games to play, and then we'll
That's
be finishing
true.
up, if that sounds good to you.
Hell yeah.
So
Let's do it.
we're going to start with yours, correct, Evan?
Yeah, that's right. So I decided to combine 2 of our series that we have on here. Well, one more recent one, and then our hit art activity. So, Brandon, if you'd like to pull up my glorious art onto the stream.
Oh, I've got it on the stream right now.
All right.
What am I looking at here?
So these are all famous anime characters, okay? And they all should have very specific features that you guys can tell what they are. And I'm going to read quotes from each of them, and I want you to match the quote to the character that I drew as well.
So, question
Okay.
here. Are we working
Yeah.
together, or are we fighting for points right now?
You guys are working together.
All right, Briggs, we can do this.
We could do it.
Easy. All right. So this first one is kind of long, but I'm going to read it, and if you can tell what the characters are, you can tell me I want the anime and the character, and you'll get half a point for each one you get correct.
Okay.
All right, so quote 1. There are many types of monsters that scare me. Monsters who cause trouble without showing themselves, monsters who take children, monsters who devour dreams, monsters who suck blood, and then monsters who tell nothing but lies. Lying monsters are a real nuisance. They are much more cunning than others.
Oh, man.
Bruh, I have no idea.
I'm stumped. All right. I'm going to go out on a limb. One of these characters that I recommend, or that I recognize, is obviously Zoro. So I don't think he
Same.
said that. So I'm going to say we don't pick Zoro. So I think we should pick a random character here, Briggs, because I don't know. Is there one that's gravitating towards you that would say this quote?
Can I guess as some random one? Like, one of the ones I have no idea what it is what I want to guess.
All right. Which one you looking at?
So, do you see the second one, that black?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm down for guessing that one.
The reason why I want to guess that is because L had a similar speech in Death Note, and I could picture L saying that despite me maybe not remembering him saying it specifically. And also, L has dark hair, and he crouches often, so maybe that's him.
I did not even put 2 and 2 together that would possibly be L, but let's go for it. So we're going to go with that's L from Death Note. Final answer?
Final answer. That is correct. You get a full point for that.
Briggs!
Oh my god!
Too good.
That was the biggest brain thing I've ever done in my life.
I am
must be hurting from
amazed.
carrying it.
I had no clue what that second character was. I'm amazed.
So, all right, next quote. We are born free, all of us free. Some don't believe it, some try to take it away. To hell with them. Water like fire, mountains of ice, the whole bit. Lay your eyes on that and you'll know what freedom is, that it's worth fighting for.
Can you read that again?
Yeah, so we are born free, all of us free. Some don't believe it, some try to take it away. To hell with them. Water like fire, mountains of ice, the whole bit. Lay your eyes on that and you'll know what freedom is, that it's worth fighting for.
Do you have any idea, Spooky?
I don't, but for some reason it sounds very what's the word? It sounds very deep. And I'm
Yes.
getting a deep vibe
It is
from
deep, that's true.
the man with the cigarette personally. I'm trying to think of like anime characters that smoke, and I'm not coming up with very many. He is bald, apparently, according to this expert drawing.
Well, I mean, you can ignore that part because he isn't actually bald. I just forgot to give him hair. There's a peek behind the curtain.
What?
Okay, what anime have themes of freedom? Like, obviously
I
One
think
Piece,
Attack
but
on
I don't
Titan
want to
comes
go
to
with
mind.
Zoro.
One Piece also comes to mind, based on things that we've both seen, and that he would know we've both seen. Those are the two that come to mind for me, honestly. I guess, like,
I'm down to go with the bald boy.
Bald
do
Boy.
it.
All right. So do we want to just say? I don't know. The question is, would Evan double up on anime? Would he double down?
I will say the chat's doing a way better job than you guys are right
Oh,
now.
I'm glad
so you
I'm not
better
looking at
close
it.
that
Then.
down.
I'm not looking at it. All I have.
Yeah, I have it full screen on my phone. I'm not cheating. Not
Yeah,
about that
I was
life.
not looking at the chat. Let's just go with smoking, man. Do you have any idea what anime
do it.
that would be, Briggs?
Maybe Attack on Titan. Does someone smoke an Attack on Titan?
Well,
'Cause that could be like a maneuver gear that he's holding.
that
like a
could also
sword.
be the person next to Zoro, because that kind of looks like I don't know. Maybe that could be Mikasa.
Oh, that could be the Mikasa.
Yeah, I don't know though.
I need a final answer here.
All right, so are we going with Smoking Boy, or are we going with possible?
I'll let you
Mikasa?
have the executive decision here, Jump
Ooh.
Master.
Oh, all right. I think that sounds Attack on Titan-y, and considering that person looks like they have maneuver gear strapped to their waist, we have to go with that. I'm gonna go with Mikasa out of the characters from Attack on Titan. If it's Aaron, I'm gonna be upset, but I think it's Mikasa.
So I'm going to give you half of the character because you did get the right picture, and you got the right anime. It is Attack on Titan, but it's Eren Yeager.
God damn it! I'm sorry, Briggs.
No, that's his fault for that hair.
I mean,
That's-
he does
that is
get
my
long hair
fault.
at some point, so like I can't necessarily knock him
Oh,
for
that's
that.
true.
But he
That's
didn't have maneuver gear to my knowledge, so getting mixed signals here. But okay, have
All
fun.
right. All right.
I'll take it.
I can't guarantee Briggs has seen this. I would imagine you have because it's well known. All of these are well known. Okay? And I have to bleep out a name because that gives it away here. So, there's no stopping him. If I'm going to go now, I'm going to go charging at full speed. A mulberry is a tree, blank is a man, and I'll prove it. We all have to perish when our time comes, but if we do our duty, we don't got regrets.
We don't got regrets. That is something that a man with a cigarette would say, Briggs.
That does sound like something a man with a cigarette would say. I think we've gotta eventually just put it out there. Just this bald boy with a cigarette. We gotta
We have to respect him.
since we have no idea who it is.
Like without the hair, I'm kind of shook. I'm trying to wrap my head around characters that smoke, especially because it looks more like a cigar than just a straight up cigarette. So I don't think it's Sanji.
Also, I doubt he would forget Sanji's eyebrows or hair.
Yeah, I mean, thinking of other characters that smoke, I know Spike from Cowboy Bebop smokes, but there's no hair here, and I don't know what that thing in his hand would be if that was the
All right.
case.
I will reread it. Someone in the chat asked for it, and I think that you guys might need it reread.
Okay.
So, there's no stopping him. If I'm going to go now, I'm going to go charging at full speed. A mulberry is a tree, blank is a man, and I'll prove it. We all have to perish when our time comes, but if we do our duty, we don't got regrets.
Bald boy.
Bald boy, let's do it.
Okay?
All right. Do you have any idea on the possible anime to give this person a name?
I'm trying to think of someone who smokes a cigar. That's my problem.
Exactly.
Wow.
But maybe it's not a cigar.
This is very
couldn't
exposing
draw whites.
right now.
I think
He
I
couldn't
have an
draw
idea,
whites.
Briggs. I think I have an idea, and I don't know if Smoking Boy's it after all. Because, like, maybe it could be
Ooh.
Smoker. I mean, he's got, like, the big thing in his hand, which could be Smoker's, like, I think it's called, like, a jute.
That could be Smoker,
And he's got
because
a
Smoker does use cigars.
Yeah.
I was thinking that, but because I see Zoro, I just was assuming that it couldn't be.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
he's bald, so it throws me off.
He might
but
double
he does
down.
have white hair, so maybe Maybe he didn't want to draw the hair because his hair is white. That's Smoker.
Okay, then the other person I'm thinking for this quote is possibly Lightning Boy over here with the thick orange hat.
Lightning Boy. I thought that was Kuwabara.
Oh, it's okay. That makes perfect sense, actually. Do you think Kuwabara has said that though?
You know what? That sounds like something he would say. I'm down to vote Kuwabara if you want.
Let's do it. Kuwabara, Yu Yu Hakusho. Boom.
Very impressive. That was a long way to get there, but that is in fact
Oh
Kuwabara
my
from
God.
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yo,
I
the
can't
fact that
believe-
you guessed, like, I knew it was Kuwabara, but I never thought it was him that said it. But you're like, who's this guy with the hat? I'm like, oh, that's Kuwabara.
Didn't know I did not think of that as a sword. I thought it was just some dude shooting lightning with like a really big crooked hat. And I was like, I don't know,
That's
man. but
Kuwabara.
I cannot believe we got that right.
It's
That's
actually
amazing.
Briggs,
Josuke
big
with
Brigg.
a different color hair.
Brig.
Break.
Gosh, all right, you're really getting carried, Brandon.
Yeah,
But on
fact.
to number 4 here. We are all like fireworks. We climb, we shine, and always go our separate ways and become further apart. But even when that time comes, let's not disappear like a firework and continue to shine forever.
Okay, I'm getting the far guy on the right with the leaf. I'm getting
you know
vibes
who
from
that
guy.
is?
I don't. I do not at all.
Because the thing that's throwing me off is I don't know what he's holding.
Yeah.
I don't either.
Okay.
If I knew what that was, maybe I could guess the anime. Because, like, blonde, spiky hair, there's a lot of shows.
Yeah, I
But,
feel
like,
like
what the hell is he holding?
I feel like the guy on the far left has to be probably Naruto if I had to take a guess. So I'm going to go ahead and say
Yeah.
Naruto did not say this quote, which means it has to be the guy on the furthest because I don't know, if I had to guess, I feel like maybe the guy in the center with the really spiky hair is possibly Killua. Possibly.
I was thinking the same thing.
So,
I was thinking the same thing.
so I don't think he would have said that either. So that leads me to process of elimination. Green leaf guy over here.
Okay. Who is the... Can I hear the quote one more time to try to guess who would say
Absolutely. We are all like fireworks. We climb, we shine, and always go our separate ways and become further apart. But even when that time comes, let's not disappear like a firework and continue to shine forever.
Damn, boy.
I'll say this is one of your favorite characters, I believe, from this show.
Me or
that? Me?
It's one of you guys. I'm not going to say who.
frick, bro? Okay. Who the frick is walking around with a leaf, dude?
I'm going to need an answer soon here.
Is it like a claw? Who would use a claw like that? Do we get points for knowing it's him without knowing the anime or the character name?
I'd give you a quarter of a. I'll give you half of a point. I'll give you
Okay.
0.25.
All right, I'm gonna go out on
So
a
quarter.
big limb here, Briggs. I feel
Okay.
like that can't be right, dude. There's no way. And then I'm second guessing myself. For some reason, I went to My Hero Academia, right? And like, All Might's one of my favorite characters. He has blonde hair, but I don't know what that grass thing would be, and he doesn't look like All Might. So, I'm so stumped. I mean, I feel like we just have to go with that character, but like, I don't know. Should we
Okay.
just like randomly guess an anime / person?
Sure. Why don't we say... Wait, what anime were you just thinking?
I was thinking My Hero Academia.
My Hero Academia. We could try it. I'm not against it.
All right, we'll just go with My Hero Academia, and for the character, for like since we have literally no clue, I'm just gonna say All Might for us
Okay.
and get that
Just
wrong.
for the benefit of the audience, for a backup
Yes.
vote, this does not count for any points. I would
Okay.
just say Dragon Ball Z.
Ooh,
Because
okay.
there's a lot of people with blonde hair.
Interesting.
True.
Well, you're both wrong. So that was a good try. It is not the character on the right. In fact, it is Mr. Blue Guy, and
What?
that is Toshiro from Bleach.
Oh, okay.
Oh, damn.
And he says that.
Damn.
And that's Toshiro's like my favorite character.
Uh-huh. Yep. I know it is.
This is
That's why I picked him.
propaganda. All right.
All right, next
That
one.
Toshiro doesn't have blue hair, but okay.
We are... Hey,
I've got
that's a
it
very
for you.
noteworthy characteristic. So, our next one, everyone has to die someday, but what they believed in will never fade away as long as someone protects it. Once you've resolved to take on those principles, no matter how much blood and tears you shed, you follow through with it. That's what it means to be a knight.
Oh, to be a knight. I was so confident the entire time.
I feel like that's
And
the
then you
part that
said
gives it
knight.
away.
Oh my god. A knight.
I'm like, this is gonna end up being Naruto or Zoro.
But
Could that be 7 Deadly Sins, possibly?
could. And that could be Meliodas all the way
yeah.
on the right, and that could be his sword, terribly drawn.
Excuse me?
I mean, like, when I think of knights, that's what I think of just right off the bat.
Oh, that drawing?
Well, no. But, I'm trying to think of, like, other anime that involve knights, but that's, like, all that's coming to me. I don't know. That would be my guess, Briggs. I don't know if you have a different idea.
I'm down to do
Is
that.
that our final answer?
All right, Meliodas,
from...
7 Deadly Sins.
All right, so you guys are correct.
What?
That is Meliodas, and that is his sword drawn very well. In
No
fact.
way!
Thank you very
The
much.
fucking leaf. The leaf.
Bro.
All right, we've only got 3 left. There's only 3 characters remaining.
All right, so we've
And
got...
both of you should be able to get all 3 of these. This
Wait.
should be a piece of cake.
Real quick.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Was the
yes.
quote right as well?
Yes, yep.
Okay, cool.
Meliodas, everything.
Fuck
You're
yeah!
totally correct on that one.
Oh, so we've just got Smoking Boy, Zoro, and Naruto. Let's do it.
All right, so don't ever think there's any perfect society made by humans. If you think that way, you'll overlook the enemy. Don't be fooled by appearances.
Okay, that's definitely Smoking Boy over here.
I think it's Smoking Boy as well.
If he's talking about humans, like, what show... Now, I'm kind of shook again. Like, I'm thinking that's definitely not Smoker now. So, like, the only other character, like I said, that goes back to smoking would probably be, like, Spike or Jet from Cowboy Bebop, but there's no hair involved here.
You know
That's
who
true.
Who it could be?
Hmm.
Can I hear the quote one last time before I say this?
Absolutely. Don't ever think there's any perfect society made by humans. If you think that way, you'll overlook the enemy. Don't be fooled by appearances.
Pride from the from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
I'd be willing to go for that.
Like the Fuhrer guy.
Yeah. I'd be
Okay, I need
willing
to
go
ask
for
which
that.
character is that drawn?
It'd be the guy with the frickin' cigarette.
Smoky Boy.
Yeah, because I feel like he has a cigar, he has a sword, he has an eye patch, which I feel like you would have probably included, so maybe that's deterring me from putting it, but I feel like he's a non-human at the top of society, and he would say something like that, I feel.
Bro, I'm gonna be really
I don't
upset
know.
if that ends up being like a Hot Pocket or something, dude. I'm gonna freak out.
Famous
Okay,
anime
wait.
food, Hot Pockets.
So that's what I was thinking. What were you thinking again, Spooks? Like Spike?
I was thinking like Spike or Jet. I mean, I guess to be fair, Jet is bald, so like, if he didn't include his sideburns, because he said the guy does have hair, so that also like I'm trying to think of not bald characters at the same time, but
I think he has hair. I don't know for a fact.
I mean, I'm gonna just assume that he at one
I
point
didn't go out
had
of my
hair.
way to make him bald, is what I'll say.
Yeah, that's what I would go with more or less. I mean, I know like, you know, obviously they're humans in that universe still, but I feel like since they're in space, they might kind of, you know, talk a little more third person ish. So that would be.
I need an
my
answer, boys.
guess. I mean, if you want to go with yours, I will
I just
support
like
you
there's no
100%.
is there? I guess there is because they're in space. I'm just gonna take the executive decision here and lock in Full Metal Alchemist
Go for
Brotherhood,
it.
King Bradley.
Go for it.
All right. So it is the smoking character. So I will give you guys
Quarter of a
point. But that is Smoker from One Piece.
Are you kidding me? God damn it! Briggs, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to second guess us like that. We had it.
You did have it, and you
it
choked.
hurts.
But
It
we've got
hurts.
2 more for you guys to redeem yourselves, and this should be very easy. Very, very easy, these last 2. Okay?
All right.
So, bring on the hardship. It's preferred in a path of carnage, is this quote.
That's got to be Zoro.
Bring on the hardship. It's preferred in a path of carnage.
Yep, that's the quote. Very short and sweet.
I feel like that has to be Zoro. If
I think it's Zoro.
If
as
Naruto
well. We know
ever
it's
said
Zoro,
that,
that person with the green hair is Zoro. It just is that something Naruto says or something Zoro says. Say it one more time. The quote.
Bring on the hardship. It's preferred in a path of carnage.
Yeah, I'm down for that if you are, Spooks.
yeah, I do not see this being Naruto. If it is, I'm gonna freak out.
Locked in?
Locked in
All
is
right.
Zoro.
Locked in. It is Rora Noah Zoro.
Frick yeah!
That's a fact. You got the full point for that. And last but not least, the quote is, "Don't start a fight if you can't end it."
Naruto. From the hit show Naruto.
From Naruto? Are you guys locking in on that?
No, it's Naruto from One Piece.
Naruto from One Piece? Is that what we're locking in?
Naruto from Naruto.
Let's do it.
All right, so you get a quarter of a point because that's the last character remaining, so you had to know who that was. But if you look very closely, those are some swirly eyebrows, and that's Sanji from One Piece. He also has feet, so he's black leg.
I'm upset.
Bruh, it was funny when I first saw those eyebrows. I'm like, that's an eyebrow. But then Spooky said Naruto. I'm like, it's a headband.
I'm sorry.
Right?
That's what I thought.
Bro, I didn't think you would include 3 One Piece characters either.
did.
That's what I was saying.
Be Naruto.
Would he double down? That's what I was thinking about Smoker. It's like
I tripled down, and all at the end.
I'm pissed.
So,
I'm pissed.
At a total, you guys got 5.25 out of 8. So that's not even bad.
Hey,
Bro, we passed.
I'll take it,
That was
dude.
really good, guys.
Hell yeah.
You know what? Hell yeah, Spooky. We did it, and I am I'm proud of your Meliodas find. And
was
I'm proud
pretty
of
good.
my L find.
Agreed. I'm glad we both pulled our weight at the end of the day.
Yeah, Sanji's name was going to be Naruto, so if you said Naruto from One Piece, I would have given you something.
I should have let
Bro,
you do it, Briggs.
you probably learned that from my fact
I
video.
did.
Yeah.
Video.
Well, I hate to throw you into the fire like twice, Briggs, but you're gonna have to play another game, okay? And this game has some true significance. So I don't know if you remember, but little while back, it hasn't been too long, you brought me on for a hit game called Bust or Bust.
Yo, the greatest anime game show of all time.
And I don't mean to brag, but I kind of swept the damn floor, all right? So today, instead, I'm going to be sending out my prodigy as my my anime 3D expert. And you're going to be competing with Evan in round 2 of Bust or Bust.
Let's do it. I'm ready for my my comeback.
Yep, the question is Briggs going to come back and show that it was just a fluke? Is he going to be the anime titty expert, or is he going to fail? We will find out. So how we're going to do this is you two will be against each other. I have 10 images. So what I'm going to do is whoever guesses first, I'm going to give the point. So you need to have both speed, precision, and expertise on your side.
Wow, okay.
Do you both understand the rules? I will be giving 1 point for the character, 1 point for the series. So you have a possible of 2 points per image, basically.
Quick question.
Yes.
Let's say I know that it's like a character from a certain series, or I know the character, can't remember the series. Say I lock in character, and I don't know the series. Does Evan get the chance to say the series?
Yeah,
So-
can I steal the series?
I will say how you'll do it is you'll start by telling me the name, right? So, or let me rephrase that. You'll start by telling me the name or the series, right? So, like, let's say I put up an image and you're like, oh, that's from One Piece. You can say, like, so that locks you in as, oh, I'm trying to say this answer right now. But then directly after saying what the series is, I'll probably give you, like, a 10-second period to give me the name or vice versa, if for some reason you don't remember what series it's from, right? But if you do not complete it and you get it wrong, the other person has a chance to also give a guess.
Ooh, okay.
So, like,
Sounds
you do have a
good.
chance to steal, but you only get one guess each round.
Okay.
Okay.
We have to be careful.
Yes. So, number 10 on the
Right,
screen.
Good luck.
Okay.
Sorry,
Good
my
luck,
bad.
Briggs.
Number 1! I did the wrong one first, so the number one's coming.
Naruto locked in.
Naruto.
Oh, but Briggs did say Naruto first. So, he is officially in the beginning. So, which character, Briggs?
I knew that as well.
All right. So, Briggs coming out with 2 points right
Frick.
off the bat. All right, I'm going to take that away. And in 3, 2, 1, the next pair of breasts on the screen.
Bleach.
Oh, Briggs.
What?
Which character?
Fuck.
I think I know.
I'm gonna say Yororichi.
Correct.
No, it's not.
I
Let's
didn't know
go.
that.
4 points on the board.
boy.
Briggs coming back strong. Wow. The return of the century. All right. Number 3 on the screen.
Oh, Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail.
Oh,
Fairy
okay.
Tail.
All right. I'm going to need a character name here.
Is it Lucy?
It is Lucy from Fairy Tail.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
You're lucky I dropped that series.
I mean, I knew you had at least seen some of Fairy Tail, which is why I decided to include a Briggs. But going right into number 4. Things gonna get harder from here, guys.
Oh no. What? Is this Cowboy Bebop?
No.
Oh, well.
Is this No Game No Life?
No. All right.
I'm like, maybe it's a
you
bad
both got it
image
wrong.
quality.
I'll give you someone a chance
A character.
for half points. For half points, I'll give you guys another chance since you both got it wrong.
I have no clue. I'll
Yeah, I'm
forfeit
actually-
my second chance.
All right, I'm gonna put the actual image on screen so you guys can see who it was. It was Lisa from JoJo.
Oh. Yeah.
That does not look like something she would wear.
Yeah, I
think
would
it's
have
fan
never
art.
guessed that.
Fan art. I'm kidding.
I should be putting up like the actual art next to it, but I'll only do that if you guys are having trouble, I suppose. Because if you get it, you get it. You know, that's how it be. Anyways, so no one got points that time. So now number 5.
Ooh.
Shit.
Full Metal Panic? Question mark.
No.
No.
Okay.
Who is that hair color? Shit.
The time is ticking down.
Oh, no, never mind. I got very excited, but I don't think it's that. I'm gonna guess One Piece.
Wrong.
Yo,
Frick.
I think I know what it is now. I shot too quickly.
All right,
Do I
go
get a
for it.
second
Go for it.
chance?
Go for
Yeah.
it. Half points.
Is it Yu Yu Hakusho?
Yes.
Oh, it's Voltan.
All right. So you got half a point there. Since you got the series and the character, you will get 1 point.
Ooh,
Okay.
okay.
Congratulations. You came back at the end of the day. All right. It's only gonna get hard from here.
Oh, good.
Number 6.
Black Clover.
Yes.
Black Clover. Maria Leona.
Yes. I honestly I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I know who you're talking
That was
about. and
really
that's her.
impressive.
Mario Leona. Let's
That's-
go. I know my tits.
Incredible.
I thought I'd
Hey.
stump that one. Dang. All right, Briggs has got a huge lead, Evan. You're gonna have to make some real
I
money
need to
moves
get all
right here.
these right.
All right, number 7.
Ooh.
Oh, this is Cowboy Bebop. That's Faye.
Correct.
Yeah, I knew that. You think I don't know her? Come on now.
I mean, maybe I threw it in there to give you an advantage at the end because I knew you'd be failing at this
Ooh.
point. Oh, got him.
Excuse me?
Ooh.
All
I
right.
also knew that too. I hesitated too long.
It do be like that sometimes. But now, number 8 on the screen. Now this is where it might get a little more complex. All right.
My Hero Academia.
Oh, okay. My Hero
I know.
Academia. What character?
I know.
Fuck, Invisible Girl. I don't know
It
her
is
name, though.
Invisible Girl. I don't know her name either, though.
Ooh, it is not Invisible Girl.
What?
Ooh.
Was it
would-
Acid
Oh, do I get another attempt or Evan gets it
Well,
first, right?
it
Evan,
Acid
he
Girl?
did get Acid Girl, so I'll give you each. So Evan, you'll get half a point there because
Okay.
Briggs basically already had the chance, and then you also said Invisible Girl. So, so Briggs, you get a full point for My Hero Academia. Evan, you get half a point for the character.
Okay.
All right, moving on to number 9.
One Piece.
Oh, you cut
okay.
out. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
So, what character?
I think it's Nami.
Incorrect.
Frick.
So you did get a point for One Piece. Briggs, would you
Okay.
like to attempt the character?
Okay, character. If I get the right crew, if it's an abstract crew, should I get points? Whitebeard's crew.
if it's
No,
like
I need a
really
name.
odd-
I need a name.
Is
I don't
this
know her name.
someone that we would know the name of?
I would hope so, but you might
Okay.
not.
All right.
I made it at least characters that, like, they're not super obscure.
Okay.
All right, so I'll give you each one more attempt with the name for half points.
Fuck, I can't remember her name. I know who it is now, though. Go ahead. I
Is-
think Evan gets first.
Is it Boa Hancock?
Negative.
Pathetic! You think that's Boy Hancock, my goddess? Bruh.
Briggs recognized them teats from
Dude,
12 miles
what's that
away.
chick's name with the third eye? What's that chick's name with the third eye?
Oh, there's no way it's that. That's way too
You don't-
obscure.
You don't think it's pudding?
He
That's
got
what
it!
is, right?
It's
Oh, it's
pudding.
pudding!
For half a point. It is
What
pudding.
What is our score at this point?
So,
going into
let's
the
see.
last
Briggs has
question?
got 4, 5, 7, 8.5. And Evan,
Okay.
you have 5.5. So,
Shoot.
you can't really win. But
That's
you could at
alright.
least keep Briggo from having an absolute dunk of a lead.
I could win my pride.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not going to guarantee that. But,
Oh, good.
so Briggo, you've guaranteed your win. Congratulations already. But, this final one I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be harder than you expect. It is on screen.
What? What?
Hunter x Hunter.
Negative.
Rip.
What? This is very bizarre. Is this Seven Deadly Sins?
Negative.
Frick.
All right, you guys have full attempt for half points for series and for character name. Guess in any order you want.
Is it
I
Yu-Gi-Oh?
think.
It is not Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay, well then I'm way out.
All right, Briggs, you have your final chance for half points.
Trying to get into Spooky's head here.
I know.
What?
So I thought it was Seven
series?
Deadly Sins because he didn't use that yet, or at all.
Honestly, I don't know.
All right, I will put the answer
Oh no!
on screen.
See? I think I see it in the chat.
It is Mob
Yep.
from Mob Psycho.
Oh my god! That's amazing.
Tell me you don't recognize them teats. I even gave you a little bit of hair.
Oh, very, very good. I can't
Nice.
believe I missed that.
But yeah, so
Oh, I never would have gotten that in a million years.
No, me neither.
final points. Evan has 5.5, and Briggs taking it home with the bacon for a total of 8.5. Congratulations, boys.
Well done, Briggs.
Dude, my
Good game.
redemption arc feels good, man. It feels good.
Now maybe
It's
you'll
good
be
to
ready
back.
to face the
I
champion.
think I'm going to be challenging someone soon for a new video.
Ooh.
I forgot about that series, and that series was a lot of fun.
I was just a jobber.
Well, whenever you're ready to take on the champion again, you just let me know and I'll be there.
I'm kind of scared, man.
Uh-huh.
You're the anime titty expert.
This is factual. But on that absolute possible upset and or redemption story, depending on your outlook here, that is all we have for you guys today. So, Briggo, why don't you shout some stuff out here? Tell people
What do
what
you
you
got
got
going
going on, where you want them to go.
Go to twitch.tv/beastlybriggs. That's where you could find me most often. And from there, you could probably find everything else. My 2 podcasts on Rant Cafe, and my YouTube channel, All Day Anime.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Let me
Thanks for
say,
coming on.
Yeah. It was a
Dude,
pleasure
thank
to
you
have
so much for having me. This was so much fun. But, like, honestly, awesome podcast between interviewing creators and then going into those little games at the end. That was so much fun.
I'm glad you
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it. I'm glad you enjoyed
That
it.
means a lot coming from you, the podcast master.
Hell yeah. Well, that is all we have for you guys today. So you can find us on twitch.tv/American_sushi if you want to catch these live. Other ways on YouTube, at American Sushi, you can catch these after the fact. Follow us on Twitter @Sushi Podcast, and we're also on Spotify now. All the links will be down below. And be sure to follow Briggo via those links as well if you haven't already. So usually how we end these off is we end with a question. And it's actually my turn for a question today. So
Yeah, let's
I have
hear
a really banging question, if you don't mind. So to those of you, I want you to answer this question in the comments below. Why are pineapples the worst fruit? Thank you very much.
Ooh,
I'm
that's a
very
great question.
eagerly awaiting your responses.
Answer. They aren't the worst fruit.
Oh, that's all the time we have for today.
Yeah, that's
Bye.
yep. Okay, that's it. Bye. Thanks for coming, Briggs.